Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today's video is going to be one that I haven't done before, but it's a type of video that I would like to implement into my channel if I can remember every month. So the video, the basic format, is what I read in the previous month and then what I'm looking forward to reading or what my TBR is for the next month. So, of course, for today's video, it's going to be March versus April. So these videos are probably going to be pretty short, at least I'm thinking they should be pretty short because I'm literally just telling you what I read and what I'm going to read. And I'm not going to do reviews of the books right here because I'm going to do those later. Maybe I'll do like star reviews or something and then you can check out the review videos later, but this will just be a way to kind of condense the books that I've been reading month by month. And if I finished a book at the beginning of a month, even if I only had, 100 pages left that I read the first day of that month, I'm going to include the book in that month's reading. And that applies to the first book that I read in March. So the first book that I finished in March was The Unanswered Questions by Lauren D. Fulter. I read like half of this at the end of February, and then I read the rest of it in the beginning of March. So I'm counting it with my March books. But yes, so The Unanswered Questions, it is a dystopian science fiction type book, maybe kind of fantasy too. I guess fantasy as well. I have a hard time placing this one. But yes, so I read this one. It's by a young self-published author, so I was very happy to be able to help support her, and I really did enjoy the book as well. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And so you can check out my review of this book where I go into more detail about what I liked, what I didn't like, what I thought about it overall. Yeah, you can definitely check that out. But anyway, 4 out of 5 stars. The Unanswered Questions was the first book that I read in March. Next, we have 180 Seconds by Jessica Park. This one I don't have a review video for out yet. That should be next week's video. And so the third book that I read in March, I also don't have a review video for out yet. I actually just finished recording it this morning, like 10 minutes ago. So the review video for this one and the next book will be coming next week and the week after. But anyway, this was the second book that I read in March. I think I give it 4 out of 5 stars again. Yeah, you'll have to wait for the review video to see what I really thought of it, but 4 out of 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books, but I did have some big issues with it. So definitely check out that review video next week. And the final book that I read in March was Prey by Michael Crichton. And I just finished this morning. I had about 50 pages left. I just finished reading it. It is March 30th, so I just barely made it with this one. I give this one 5 out of 5 stars. Favorite read of the month. And again, you'll have to wait a couple weeks for the review video, but 5 out of 5 stars. I really, really loved it. I haven't read a book like this in quite a while, if ever. I don't know if I've ever read a book like this, so it was really incredible. And that's all that I can say about this one right now, but definitely keep a lookout for the review because it will be coming in 2 weeks, unless I have some other video idea that I squeeze in between there, but I think in 2 weeks this one will be up. So these are the 3 books that I read this month. Only 3, which might not seem like a lot to some people, but I'm pretty proud of it, especially since this one was 500 pages. This one was 400 something pages. Let me just double check. Yeah, 400 something pages. And this one was close to 300. So this one was the smallest book and probably this wasn't even the quickest read though. This was the smallest book. I think it was my second quickest read. And you'll be surprised to know that this was the quickest read of this month. This book is 500 pages long, but it only took me a week to read it. And, during that time I had work and other things going on as well, but it only took me a week to read. This one took me 8 days, I think, so just barely over a week. And then this one took a little bit longer, but again, it was a pretty long book. So these are the 3 reads for March, and now let's get into what my TBR is for April. There is a small possibility that this will change, but I really don't think so. Once I plan out what books I'm going to read, that's generally what I read. But there is a possibility that I will end up reading more books than this in April. I would be very, very surprised, especially since there will be an entire week where I will probably get almost no reading done. So I don't even know if I'm going to make it through these 3 books, but these are the 3 books that I have lined up because 3 seems like a pretty good number. So the first one is Tarzan of the Apes. It is the first book in the Tarzan series. Can you see that? Yes. Tarzan by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm reading this because he has been urging me to read something by Edgar Rice Burroughs. While I was reading 180 Seconds, I was complaining about the writing, and he told me that I should read some Edgar Rice Burroughs because he thinks that his writing is really, really good. So I'm really excited to read this. It's only 200 and some pages, so I think I will be able to get through it fairly quickly. But if the writing is more complicated, it might take a little bit longer. Anyway, I am excited to read this. I do actually have my own Edgar Rice Burroughs book. A Princess of Mars. I have this book, which is part of the John Carter of Mars series, or the Barsoom series. There's another name for the series as well, but anyway, it's part of that series. So I could also read this one, but I'm going to read Tarzan because this is what my dad has read and this is what he's been recommending. And even though there might be other books in the series that are better than the first one, possibly, I'm going to start with the first one because I just can't start in the middle, even though it probably wouldn't matter. I don't think there's really a plot line that goes through all of the books. Like, you could probably read them in any order, but I'm going to start with the first one. I have to. Anyway, yeah, so this is the first book on my TBR for April. Look at that shine. And then the second and third books are The Hate U Give and On the Come Up, because I have this box set. So these two are next, The Hate U Give and then On the Come Up. And I really want to read these next because I want to read them before I go to college. I'm going to be going to the same college that Angie Thomas graduated from, and Angie Thomas is the author of those two books, if you didn't know. So I thought it would be really cool to read her books before I go to college. At the same college that she went to, and I'm currently planning to double major in graphic design and creative writing, so I just thought it would be really cool to read her books before going. And if I don't read them now, there's a possibility that I won't get to them, so they're on my TBR for April. And those are the only 3 books I have on my TBR. I'm always amazed when I watch other videos like this, and the YouTuber in the video, they have like 5 or 6 or 7 books lined up for that month or more, and I don't understand it. 3 is good for me. If I end up reading more than these 3, I will just talk about that in my next video like this. I need a name for this video. So if you have any suggestions for what I could call this type of video, because it's kind of a review slash TBR video, but I'd kind of like a solid name for it. But anyway, if you have ideas for a name for this type of video, let me know down below. And if you've read any of these books, any of these 6 books that I just mentioned, I guess we can also include A Princess of Mars. If you've read any of these, let me know what you thought down below. How do you think I'm gonna like Tarzan and then The Hate U Give and On the Come Up? I hope I really love them. And so I hope to be doing these types of videos at the end slash beginning of every month, just depending on where the Friday falls. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. And then hopefully by the time I go away to college, I'll have at least a few videos stocked up that I can keep the channel going with, because I don't think I'll have a lot of time to do any reading or recording or editing. So I'm not really sure how this channel is going to go after August, because I'm probably not going to have time for a lot of things, but I'll try to keep it going if I can. Yeah, if I can stock up videos now, that'll be great. So this will definitely help with that at least. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down, but please let me know why and how I can improve. And if you haven't subscribed already, you could go ahead and subscribe. That would be awesome. Share the videos with your friends if you have friends who, love reading. That would be great. And that's it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you in the next one, and have a blessed day, everyone.